Wednesday, it's hump day, my friends. All right, so today's big motto is going to be accountability. So accountability for all of our actions. That can be anything from, forgetting to put your towel away in the morning. Something that easy, accountability. Then you get a call from your significant other or your mom or someone else that says, hey, you didn't pick this up. See, those little things add up. It's not just like one time you don't do it and then bam, they're going to yell at you. Some parents will. Good parents will. Good significant others will yell at you the first time you do it. That way it doesn't become a habit. Remember how we talked about habits? Habits get created within 30 days. If you do the same thing every day for 30 days, it's going to become a habit. And that means bad habits too. Some things can happen quicker than that though. Like addictions and stuff like that. But either way, my point is we got to be accountable for all of our actions. We're adults, right? We're adults. So when we do something that has repercussions to it, we have to be willing to answer. We have to face the music, right? We have to be able to answer to that. Sometimes that answering is hard to do because usually our egos are higher than our humility, if that makes sense. We have more ego. We think more of our ego than we do our being a human and being filled with humility. Why is that important? Because it shows content of character. And we'll get into content of character probably tomorrow or the next day, sometime around then, but it adds to the content of your character. If you say you're going to do something, you got to be accountable and say that you're going to do it. And accountable for your actions doesn't just mean negative actions, it also means positive ones. So you got to be accountable for when you say you're going to, give a homeowner a call in my field. You make sure you give that homeowner a call. You don't, turn around and say, oh, well, I forgot. Why? Because that shows that you have a low content of character, right? You can be accountable for a lot of things. Like if I go up to a police officer of the law because I don't like the way that things are going around the country and I spit in their face and I get arrested for it, guess what? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be political here. I'm just saying you got to be accountable for your actions. You're going to get arrested. You're going to get arrested. If you go up to a police officer and spit in their face, you're going to get arrested for assault. Plus, anymore these days, somebody spits in your face, it might not just be spit. There could be drugs laced in your spit, a ton of stuff. Like fentanyl. Now, obviously, that's probably going to be the rarest occurrence ever, but what's if the person has like herpes or something, spits on you? I mean, come on. If, you go into a restaurant and the bill comes back and you weren't expecting to pay that much, so you send your steak back that you don't find was cooked well enough, or it was undercooked or it was overcooked, and you send it back, but let's say it wasn't really overcooked or undercooked. You just don't want to pay the bill. So you send the steak back multiple times, even though the steak was cooked right, just to get your bill for free. See what I'm getting at? You got to be accountable for your actions. Those kind of people I will not sit and dine with. People that spit in cops' faces, I will not sit down and have a glass of water with. I will not have a glass of wine with. I will not eat with them. I will not even converse with these people. If you say you're going to do something and don't do it, we'll have a talk about it. I won't necessarily just completely disown you out of my life, but if you do this over and over and over again and I make it a point, or if I do it over and over again and you don't tell me and it becomes a problem, then I expect you to go out of my life, right? I expect that because I said I was going to do something over and over and over again and I didn't change my behavior. Does that make sense? We've all got to be accountable for the things that we do and say in this world, is what I'm getting at. And there's not a lot of people in this world today that are accountable for their actions. And I know, I hear it all the time. Well, the politicians aren't accountable for their actions. They never have been. They've never been accountable for the actions. Never. No, they've never been. But my question to you is, why should why should that affect you? Why should you do bad things just because someone else is doing bad things? Does that make sense? Why? What's the purpose behind that? I believe that's even worse than someone who doesn't know they're doing bad and they do bad. If someone knowingly does bad and they keep committing bad, that's way worse than someone that doesn't knowingly know it. And believe me, we'll all have to answer for this at one point in our lives. It has a way of working itself back around. We all deal with this. We all go through this, right? We do something bad and we think that no one noticed. Well, then 2 weeks later, guess what? It happens. I've seen this happen to people in front of me, okay? I've seen people lie to people when I was just like a helper and I was working in their truck, lie to them. 2 weeks later, I get questioned because that guy told them some far-fetched bullshit about how the piping was going to work, and it didn't work that way. You know why? Because that technician didn't know what he was talking about, right? These are all the spots in our life where we could have been accountable for something and we weren't. We didn't take accountability for our actions, and what did that lead to? It led to a problem. And I know I'm going to get flack on this video just because I said what I said about the police from people that don't believe police should be respected. And of course, there's bad cops out there, just like there's bad people. Okay? In my belief system, there's a lot more good people on this earth than there are bad. And I think there's a lot of situations going on around the world right now that they blow it up to make it look like there's a lot more bad people than there actually are in this world. Okay? Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of bad people in this world. There are. That will take and take and take from society and never give it back. Right? They will take from society every bit that they possibly can. But it is your job to be better than that. If you have someone that looks up to you, think about that for a second. You have someone that's looking up to you. What kind of image do you want to show to them? Do you want to show them accountability, or do you want to show them that it's okay to not be accountable for your actions? Because guess what? You're going to answer that call one day. It could be your son, it could be your wife, it could be your mom, dad, and you don't let them know how they're acting. One day you're going to answer a call that you don't want to fucking answer. I'm telling you right now. You have to instill those beliefs. You have to instill that in people. Or else nothing will ever change. Thank you for watching. Sorry if you got butt hurt, but that's what I believe. That's what I believe.